The first time I saw her, she was standing on the edge of a collapsing star. That's not poetic exaggeration. The star was literally collapsing, its core destabilizing, its light flickering in erratic pulses like a dying heartbeat. The observation deck of Station Halcyon trembled beneath my boots as alarms wailed in overlapping frequencies, each one screaming a different kind of doom. And in the middle of that chaos, she stood perfectly still. No suit, no tether, no fear. Just a woman wrapped in something that looked like liquid starlight, her hair drifting as if gravity had forgotten her. She was watching the star die, like it was the most natural thing in the universe. "Hey!" I shouted into my comm. "Who is that out there?" "She's not on the manifest." Static answered me. I slammed my palm against the console. Control, respond. Nothing. The station lights flickered again, plunging the deck into darkness for half a second before emergency power kicked in. When the light returned, she was closer. I hadn't seen her move. That was the moment I knew something was very, very wrong. "My name is Armin Hale. I was a salvage pilot, someone who made a living picking through the corpses of dead ships and forgotten stations. I wasn't a scientist or a hero or anything particularly important, which is probably why the universe chose me, because it has a twisted sense of humor. The mission had been simple: recover data from Halcyon before the collapsing star consumed it. In and out. No complications. But Halcyon was silent when I arrived. No chatter. No crew signals. Just the hollow echo of a place that had been abandoned, or worse. And then there was her. I didn't realize I was moving until I was already in the airlock, pulling on my suit, heart hammering against my ribs. "Bad idea," I muttered. But I opened the outer hatch anyway. The void swallowed me. The star loomed ahead, its surface churning like molten chaos. And there she was, suspended impossibly between me and the dying giant. I drifted closer, each breath loud in my helmet. "Ma'am," I said, trying to keep my voice steady, "you need to come inside. That star's about to." She turned, and everything stopped. I don't know how else to describe it. The alarms faded. The light from the star dimmed, as if reality itself had paused to acknowledge her. Her eyes met mine. They weren't human. They weren't alien either. They were older than both. "You came," she said. Her voice didn't come through my comms. It was inside my head. What?" I blinked. "No. I'm here for a salvage job. You need to get to safety." She studied me, tilting her head slightly, like I was a puzzle she hadn't decided whether to solve or discard. "You're late," she said. "Late for what?" "For me." I should have left. Every instinct I had screamed at me to turn around, get back in my ship, and jump to the farthest system I could reach. But I didn't. Because there was something about her, something that made leaving feel impossible. "Look," I said, forcing a laugh, "I don't know who you think I am, but—" "You don't know what you are," she interrupted. That shut me up. The star behind her flared violently, a massive eruption tearing across its surface. My suit screamed warnings. Radiation spikes. Gravitational instability. We had minutes. Maybe less. "You're going to die if you stay here," I snapped. She smiled. "I won't." There was no arrogance in it. No bravado. Just certainty. And for some reason, I believed her. "Fine," I said, exasperated. "But I will. So, unless you plan on dragging me out of here with you, we need to move." She drifted closer. No thrusters. No motion. Just closer. "You won't die," she said softly. "Not yet." "Comforting," I muttered. She reached out. For a split second, I hesitated. Then her fingers touched my suit, and the universe broke. I wasn't in space anymore. I wasn't anywhere. I was everywhere. Stars ignited and died in the span of heartbeats. Galaxies spiraled into existence and unraveled into dust. Time folded in on itself, looping and fracturing like shattered glass. And through it all, she was there, watching, guiding, waiting. You see it now, her voice echoed. What is this? I gasped, though I wasn't sure I even had a body to breathe with. This is what I am. The vision shifted. I saw civilizations rise, countless worlds, countless species. I saw them look to the sky, searching for meaning. And I saw her. Sometimes as a whisper, sometimes as a myth, sometimes as a woman standing at the edge of a dying star. You're a god? I asked. No, she said. But I am what comes after them. That didn't make sense. None of it did. Why me? I demanded. Why show me this? The stars slowed. The chaos softened. And suddenly I was back, floating in space. Her hand still resting on my suit. Because, she said, you chose to come. That's it. I laughed incredulously. That's your criteria? Curiosity gets me cosmic enlightenment. It gets you a choice. I frowned. What kind of choice? She studied me again, her expression unreadable. To stay as you are, she said, or to become something more. I stared at her. I'm a salvage pilot, I said. I don't become something more. I fix broken ships and sell scrap. And yet, she said softly, you came to a dying star to save someone you didn't know. That's called not being a jerk. She smiled again, and for a moment she looked almost human. Then don't be one now, she said. Stay. The star behind her pulsed violently, its collapse accelerating. We were out of time. I don't even know your name, I said. I don't have one, she replied. Everyone has a name. She considered that. Then, after a pause, she said, you can give me one. I blinked. You're serious? Yes. I looked at her, really looked, at the impossible light woven into her form, at the calm in her eyes as the universe unraveled behind her. And somehow the word came to me. Lyra, I said. She repeated it, as if tasting it for the first time. Lyra. The way she said it sent a strange warmth through me. Do you like it? I asked. Yes, she said simply. It's mine. The star let out a final, deafening roar. The collapse had reached critical mass. Okay, I said quickly, names sorted. Now we need to go. I told you, she said. I don't need to. I do. She stepped closer. So close I could see the faint constellations shifting within her eyes. Then come with me, she said. To where? She reached out again. Anywhere. I don't know why I said it. Maybe it was the adrenaline. Maybe it was the insanity of the moment. Or maybe it was the way she looked at me, like I mattered in a universe where nothing should. But as the star began to collapse into itself, as space twisted and light bent around us, I laughed. Yeah, I said. Sure. Why not? And then, under my breath, barely audible even to myself, I whispered, I think I want to marry you. I didn't expect her to hear it. I didn't expect it to matter. I didn't expect anything at all. But she turned. Her eyes widened slightly, as if I had just said the most important thing in existence. Marry, she repeated. I froze. Forget that, I was just... Yes, she said. I blinked. What? Yes, she repeated, more firmly this time. My brain short-circuited. Hold on, I said, raising a hand. Hold on. That was a joke. A sarcastic, probably about to die kind of joke. I know, she said. Then why did you? Because you meant it. I did not mean it. You did, she said calmly. You just don't understand that you did. I opened my mouth to argue, then closed it, because I didn't have a counterargument. Not a real one. The star collapsed. Space folded. And she took my hand. We didn't move. The universe did. That's the only way I can explain it. One moment, we were at the edge of annihilation. The next, we weren't. No explosion. No destruction. Just silence. We stood on something that wasn't quite ground, and beneath a sky that wasn't quite a sky. Colors shifted in ways my eyes struggled to process, like reality was still deciding what rules to follow. Where are we? I asked. Between, Lyra said. Between what? Yes. That's not helpful. She smiled faintly. You'll understand eventually. I sighed. Great. I've always wanted to be eventually informed. She walked a few steps forward, her movements graceful and unhurried. Do you regret it? She asked. Regret what? She looked back at me. Your answer. I hesitated. Which answer? I said. The one where I followed a cosmic entity into wherever this is, or the one where I accidentally proposed to her. Both. I rubbed the back of my neck. Honestly? I said. I don't know yet. She nodded, as if that was the most reasonable response in the world. That's acceptable. Good, I said. Because I'm still trying to process the fact that you said yes. She stepped closer again. You offered a bond, she said. A permanent connection. A shared existence. That's one way to describe marriage, yeah. It's more than that, she said. At least it can be. I studied her. You're serious about this, I said slowly. Yes. You don't even know me. I do, she said. I've seen what you could be. That's not the same thing. It is to me. I exhaled. This is insane. Yes, she agreed. You're very calm about that. I've seen worse. Of course you have. There was a pause. Then, despite everything, despite the absurdity, the danger, the sheer impossibility of it all, I found myself smiling. Okay, I said. Let's say I don't run away screaming. Let's say I actually consider this. What happens then? She extended her hand. Then we begin. I looked at it. At her. At the endless, shifting reality around us. And I realized something. For the first time in my life, I wasn't just surviving. I was standing at the edge of something infinite. Terrifying. Beautiful. All right, I said, taking her hand. Let's begin. Time doesn't pass the same way when you're with someone like Lyra. Or maybe it does, and you just stop noticing. She showed me things I can't fully describe. Places where stars are born like sparks from a fire, where entire universes exist as fleeting thoughts. She taught me how to see. Not just with my eyes, but with something deeper. And slowly, piece by piece, she changed me. Not all at once. Not in some dramatic, lightning strike transformation. But gradually. Like the tide reshaping a shoreline. You're different, I told her once. We were watching a galaxy spin into existence. Casual, like it was a sunset. How? She asked. You laugh more, I said. She considered that. I learned it from you. I chuckled. Not sure if that's a good thing. It is, she said. There was a pause. Then she added, You're different too. Yeah, you're not afraid anymore. I thought about that. About the man I had been. The salvage pilot who avoided risks, who kept his world small and manageable. And I realized she was right. I guess I'm not, I said. She took my hand. You stayed, she said softly, even when you had every reason not to. I squeezed her fingers. Yeah, I said. I did. I don't know how long it's been.
Days. Years.
Lifetimes. Time doesn't matter here. What matters is this. I whispered something I didn't fully understand. And she heard it. Not just the words, but the truth behind them. And she said yes. Sometimes I still think about that moment. About the dying star. The chaos. The absurdity of it all. And I laugh. Because if you had told me back then, told Armin Hale, salvage pilot, that one careless whisper would lead to this, I wouldn't have believed you. But here I am, standing beside her, at the edge of everything. And for the first time in my life, I know exactly where I belong. Armin, she says, her voice soft and infinite all at once. Yeah. She looks at me, her eyes holding entire universes. Are you ready? I smile. Yeah, I say. I am. She nods. And together, we step forward. Into forever. When we stepped forward, I thought we were walking into light. We weren't. We were walking into choice. The space before us unfolded like a doorway made of shifting constellations. I felt something pressed gently against my mind, not forceful, not coercive, but vast, like standing before an ocean that would welcome you or drown you. What happens now? I asked quietly. Lyra didn't look at the doorway. She looked at me. Now, she said, you decide what you are willing to become. I frowned. I thought I already chose. You chose to stay with me, she said softly, but you haven't yet chosen what that means. The doorway rippled. Beyond it, I saw flashes, not clear images, but possibilities. I saw myself made of light. I saw myself aging normally, dying normally. I saw myself alone. I saw myself beside her at the birth of galaxies. I swallowed. There's a catch. There is always balance, she said. You cannot stand beside me unchanged. The universe would not allow it. And if I don't change, then you return, she said gently, to your life, to your time. You will remember this only as a dream. The words hit harder than I expected. A dream? I repeated. Yes. And you? I will continue. Something tightened in my chest. Without me. She didn't answer. She didn't need to. I walked a few steps away, staring into the strange horizon. The colors shifted like oil on water. Reality here was soft, unfinished. I'm just a guy, I said. I fix broken things. I complain too much. I make dumb jokes at the worst possible times. You do, she agreed. I huffed a quiet laugh. I'm not cosmic, I continued. I'm not eternal. I'm barely responsible. You're kind, she said. That's not the same thing. It is to me. Silence stretched between us. I thought about Earth, about spaceports and cluttered hangars, about greasy engine parts and late-night takeout in orbit, about ordinary. And then I thought about her, about the way she had stood unafraid before a collapsing star, about the way she had said yes, not to the joke, but to the meaning beneath it. You said I meant it, I said slowly, when I whispered that. Yes.
How?
She stepped closer. Because when you thought you were about to die, you didn't wish for wealth, or power, or escape. Her hand rested lightly over my chest. You wished for connection. My breath caught. That is not a small thing, Armin. I looked at her, at the being who had watched civilizations rise and fall like seasons. And she was afraid, not of destruction, not of time, but of being alone. You've always been alone, haven't you? I asked. She hesitated. Yes. Even with all this? I gestured at the endless reality around us. Yes. That did it. That was the moment. Not the dying star. Not the cosmic power. Not the eternity. Just that quiet admission. I walked back toward the doorway. If I choose to change, I asked, what do I lose? Your fragility, she said. That sounds like a win. You lose your simplicity, your single-threaded experience of time. You will remember every moment always. I winced. Even the embarrassing ones? Yes. Tragic. She almost smiled. And if I stay human? I pressed. You will age. You will weaken. You will die. And you won't.
No.
The word hung heavy between us. I stared at the shifting light of the doorway. Is there a middle? I asked. Her eyes flickered, surprised. A middle? Yeah, I said. I don't want to stop being me, but I don't want to leave you alone again either. The space around us stilled, as if listening. There has never been a middle, she said carefully. Maybe there hasn't, I replied, but there hasn't been us either. She studied me in that deep, searching way she had, and for the first time, I felt like she wasn't looking at what I could become. She was looking at what I was. The doorway pulsed brighter. Armin, she said softly, if you bind yourself to me, you will share in my existence. You will see the end of stars. You will endure beyond galaxies. And you will feel their deaths. I nodded slowly. Okay. Her brows furrowed. Okay. Yeah, I said. Because you feel them now, don't you? Yes. And you've been carrying that alone. Silence. You don't have to anymore, I said. Her expression shifted, something fragile moving beneath the cosmic calm. I am not asking you to suffer, she whispered. I know, I said. I'm choosing to. That was different.
Choice.
Not destiny. Not accident.
Choice.
The doorway widened. Energy rippled outward, brushing against us like warm wind. What do I do? I asked. She extended her hands. Stand with me. I took them. The moment our palms touched, the universe roared. Light poured through me, not burning, not tearing, but rewriting. I felt my cells unfold like constellations. My thoughts expanded, branching outward into corridors of perception I never knew existed. Time fractured.
I
saw my past simultaneously with my future. I saw the day I was born. I saw stars that hadn't yet ignited. I gasped, overwhelmed. It's too much. It will settle, she said, her voice anchoring me. And it did. Slowly, like a storm calming. The endless noise refined into clarity. I could still feel myself. Armin. Still sarcastic. Still flawed. But no longer fragile in the same way. The doorway dissolved. The space around us solidified into something new, a realm shaped by two presences instead of one. I looked down at my hands. They shimmered faintly, threads of starlight woven through skin that still felt human. I'm still me, I said in disbelief. Yes, Lyra replied. And I'm also with me. I laughed, a sound that echoed farther than it should have. Okay, I breathed. That's a lot. She stepped closer. There was no overwhelming cosmic aura now. Just her. Do you regret it? She asked again. I searched myself. For doubt. For fear. For longing to go back. There was uncertainty, sure. There was awe. But regret?
No.
No, I said honestly. I don't. She exhaled, a subtle release of tension I hadn't realized she carried. You are the first, she whispered. The first what? The first to choose me. That hit deeper than the transformation. I reached up and touched her cheek. You weren't exactly advertising, I said softly. A small laugh escaped her. The sound was brighter now. Warmer. We stood together as a new star ignited in the distance, born from dust and gravity and quiet inevitability. I felt its spark, felt its fusion begin, and I didn't flinch. Instead, I leaned slightly into her shoulder. "So," I said casually, "does this mean we're officially married now?" She tilted her head. "You bound your existence to mine," she said. "You chose eternity at my side." "Yeah, but is there paperwork?" She blinked. "What is paperwork?" I grinned. "I'll explain later." She shook her head gently. "You are impossible. And you said yes anyway." Her eyes softened. "Yes," she said again. "Not cosmic. Not thunderous. Just certain." A ripple moved through reality, distant, subtle. "What's that?" I asked. "A civilization," she replied. "They're looking to the sky for answers." I felt it too, a collective curiosity, fragile and bright. "What do we do?" I asked. She looked at me. "What do you think we should do?" That question mattered. It wasn't about power. It was about partnership. I considered the tiny, hopeful minds reaching outward into the dark. "Nothing dramatic," I said. "Maybe just a nudge. A whisper. Let them find their own way." Her smile widened. "That is a very human answer." "Good," I replied. I worked hard to keep that. She squeezed my hand, and together, we sent the smallest shift through the cosmos. Not salvation, not interference. Just possibility. Eons will pass. Stars will die. Galaxies will collide. And we will stand together through all of it. Not as rulers. Not as gods. But as witnesses. Partners. Equal halves of something the universe had never seen before. Sometimes, when reality is quiet, she still asks me, "Do you remember when you whispered it?" And I always laugh. "Yeah," I say. "Worst timing ever." She leans into me. It was perfect timing. Maybe she's right. Because if I hadn't whispered it, if she hadn't turned, if she hadn't said yes, I would still be drifting through space, patching broken hulls and pretending I didn't want something more. Instead, I found someone who had been carrying eternity alone, and I chose to carry it with her. So, if you ever look up at the night sky, if you ever feel like the universe is vast and cold and impossibly distant, just know, somewhere out there, at the edge of forever, a salvage pilot who once made a careless joke is still holding her hand, and she is still saying yes.